Hello everyone, Shirley here. With BFA right around the corner, I thought it would be fun to provide a little guide for those that might not know what to do with their time in the upcoming expansion, right when they hit level 120. So you might ask yourself, once you actually hit 120, what's the best way to spend your time? I'm going to be going over a few things in today's video, what I would recommend doing, and this is all in preparation for Uldir coming up. We'll have three weeks before Uldir opens, I think. And on the fourth week, we can get right into the new raid. So what should you do first? You should get friendly with all the new factions. And this is for a couple of reasons. One, because it's going to unlock all your world quests, which is obviously important for many reasons. But on top of that, you should be doing basically every single quest in each zone anyway, not just the Pathfinder ones. So you can get reputation in each of these zones. Just max it out as much as you can. Because at Exalted, each of the new reputations will give you a piece of 350 item level gear. And this is around the normal raid table gear for Uldir. So you'll want to get that. But before you start doing your world quests at 120, you're going to want to get an item called it's a contract, and inscriptionists make this, and you're going to want to get a specific one, which is the Champions of Azeroth contract. And now this is for a particular faction in BFA called the Champions of Azeroth, and there's not very many world quests to get up their reputation by itself. That's why you want to get this contract. And if you didn't know, the contract will give you 10 extra reputation for every world quest you do for the designated rep that you have contracted. So for example, if you have the Champions of Azeroth contract, even if you're doing a world quest for, say, the Zandalari, you'll still get 10 additional rep for the champions on top of your standard Zandalari rep. And the reason why we're getting this contract first before we do any of our world quests is because at various stages during the Champions of Azeroth, you will get a quest that will give you 15 item level upgrade on your Heart of Azeroth necklace, and this is permanent. So at Friendly, Honored, and Revered, you're going to get 3 total of these item level bumps. So this is going to be huge, getting that extra stats for the raid when it opens up. Plus, at Exalted, you can get a 355 piece of gear from the Quartermaster. So, really want to focus on that first. And then once you hit Exalted, you can go ahead and switch your contract to the next faction that you want. And from that point, it's not so important. It's just kind of picking and choosing which one you should go with. Probably one that's going to give you the biggest bump right off the bat. But regardless, you're going to want to do all the quests anyway. So the next thing you're going to want to do in that vein is farm for artifact power and gear. And on top of doing all your world quests every day, so you can eventually hit Exalted right before the raid opens, is roughly when you should get there, so you can buy all your 350 gear for the raid. You're going to want to do all the Mythic 0 dungeons each week, and one of them, or 2 of them, technically, one for the Horde and Alliance, is going to be reputation locked by your the Warfront quest line. So you got to hit Honored to unlock that Mythic 0 dungeon. But regardless, you're going to want to do every single dungeon once each week, because there's a week-long lockout for that gear. And it's going to drop 340 gear, and it can Titan Forge, of course, up to like 350 first week, should be. And that's pretty much it for Mythics. And you're going to want to make sure that you're doing your island expeditions each week as well. There's going to be a weekly cap quest that's going to just give you AP, but it's going to give you a bunch of AP. And this is going to roughly translate to, you're going to want to do 7 of these on normal each week, but it goes down depending on what difficulty you're doing it on. So on Heroic, it's like 5, and Mythic's even less than that. And I'm not sure about PvP. But you shouldn't forget about your daily Heroic dungeon either, because that's going to give you a nice chunk of artifact power. And also your follower missions on the table down at the boat at 120 are going to give you artifact power, and reputation occasionally will pop up. So your end goal before the raid opens is you want your neck to be level 21, the Heart of Azeroth, roughly. And the item level you want to be is around 350 before the raid opens, so you can be, as geared as possible for normal and heroic the very first week. And then after the raid opens, you're going to want to do the Warfront quests, because the Warfront should open up right after the raid opens up. And that'll give you a nice big chunk of AP again. And then there's going to be a world boss, that's going to be available after the Warfronts open as well. And that's going to give, I think, 370 gear. So you're going to want to do that every week. And then after raid opens up, Mythic Plus will become available, and you're going to want to do a plus 10 every week from that point forward for the best possible loot. Now, you're not, maybe you can't do it or whatever, but plus 10 is going to be the cap on item level right now. So, going to want to get in at least one plus 10 every week. And that's about it for hitting 120 right now. I'm sure you'd do a bunch more if you really wanted to go all out on this, but that's my recommendations so far as to what you should do first. So really focus on getting artifact power the first couple of weeks, just farming as much dungeons and island expeditions as you possibly can, and aiming for that 350 item level, roughly, depending on how lucky you get with RNG, I guess. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them below, and until next time, see ya.